Imagine spending 3 years of your life pouring your soul into an indie game. You pour your life savings into it, work late nights, and when you finally launch your Steam game, reality hits you like a brick wall. You are pulling in maybe 300, maybe 500 wishlists a week if you are lucky. It feels impossible to break through. Then, completely out of nowhere, you open your Steamworks dashboard, and your daily wishlist count has exploded by over 2,000%. This exact scenario just happened to an independent developer tracked by an industry data firm. A title previously scraping by on 300 to 500 wishlists a day suddenly spiked to over 10,000 wishlists in less than 24 hours. You might be wondering how, and that's all because Valve quietly fundamentally changed the rules of discoverability. In June 2026, Steam pushed out a massive, highly calculated overhaul of its storefront homepage. On the surface, the internet treated it as a simple cosmetic facelift, just a UI change to freshen things up. But hidden beneath the layout lies a deep re-engineering of Steam's recommendations. If you are a creator, a gamer trying to find hidden gems, or an aspiring developer trying to survive, you need to understand exactly what happened behind the scenes, as this update completely changes how games succeed on PC. We have to look at the sheer data problem Valve was dealing with. According to SteamDB, it seems like the platform has reached a saturation point. In 2025 alone, developers flooded Steam with approximately 21,000 new titles. Fast forward to right now, halfway through 2026, and we have already seen over 11,000 games hit the platform. We're on pace to completely shatter last year's record. So just think about that math. That is an average of nearly 60 new games launching every single day, which are not only just competing with each other, but are also competing with the thousands of games that are already released. For a long time, the Steam store page relied heavily on a legacy mechanic, global popularity metrics. The logic was safe. If a game already has a massive number of wishlists and players, put it on the front page because it is highly likely to make money. Most estimates to get onto the popular upcoming tab, your game typically needed an entry barrier of anywhere between 10,000 and 50,000 pre-existing wishlists. If you didn't have a publisher pushing a massive marketing budget, you were more than likely going to be invisible unless you became extremely lucky. Valve realized that a static list of globally popular games cannot scale when you are launching over 20,000 games a year. The ecosystem was choking and something had to give. When the update dropped out of beta on June 4th, the initial reaction from the indie developer community wasn't actually good. They were sort of panicking. Dozens of developers rushed to social media, launching a massive wave of backlash against Valve. They claimed the update was a death sentence for small creators, because they noticed that Valve had altered the default behavior of the legendary popular upcoming tab. Previously, that specific tab sorted upcoming games based purely on their release date. If you qualified as popular, you stayed in a neat chronological order, but Valve changed the default filter of that section to a metric called relevance. These developers instantly started to doom without waiting for actual traffic reports or analyzing the system as a whole. Let's just look at what you have to do now to find that old view. First, you have to hover over the menu bar, click browse, click upcoming, scroll all the way to the bottom of the screen, find the tiny button that says see more popular upcoming, and then manually change the sorting filter drop down from relevance back to release date. Developers had assumed Valve had intentionally buried indie games behind 5 layers of menus just to protect AAA blockbusters. So the narrative was getting pushed. Steam discoverability was officially dead. But these creators made a critical error. They were so busy staring at the old location where their traffic used to live that they completely failed to notice where Valve had actually redirected the pipeline. If you scroll exactly 4 sections down from the very top of the brand new Steam homepage, you run into the core change of this entire update, the personal calendar. This is where the magic happens. Valve fundamentally re-engineered the platform around a relevance-first model. In their official June 4th announcement, Valve explicitly laid out their design philosophy. Each section has a distinct set of tools and information to give users many ways to explore the diverse catalog of games on Steam. A goal of this visual refresh is to strike a balance between providing more consistency in UI elements while allowing the unique nature of each section to show through. And when addressing the changes to the old system, they were blunt. Popular upcoming, now more popular. The contents of this tab have been updated in response to player feedback in order to better capture the most anticipated releases of the coming month. If you're looking for more niche upcoming releases, check out your personal calendar. Valve here is telling developers exactly how this works. The popular upcoming tab will now show more blockbusters, the games that everybody already knows about, but the personal calendar is built entirely to surface niche, specialized games directly to individuals who want to play them. It looks at your personal playtime history, your library, your preferences, and the games you have interacted with in the past, along with players who play similar games as you. It then generates a personalized, highly accurate timeline. If you remember my video around half a year ago when this feature first released, we were a big fan of it, but there was one catch. It was buried so deep within submenus that your average gamer didn't even know it existed, and Valve finally fixed that. On the homepage, users instantly see a multi-week window, weeks of past releases you have missed if you want to try them out right now, the current week, and weeks into the future. If you click into the detailed view, it expands out even more. And now you might notice something interesting. When looking at your own calendar, the rows look incredibly dense up until Friday, while Saturday and Sunday aren't even there. And if you're wondering, this is not a glitch. According to Steamworks documentation, Valve actively discourages developers from launching titles over the weekend because their core support staff is out of the office. This design completely removes the manual friction of discovery. Steam automatically places tailor-made indies right in front of them without requiring a single click, while also allowing players the ability to change the filters and amount of games they see that are recommended for them, putting the personal in personal calendar. And now let's look at the real-world performance metrics to prove why the initial developer panic was completely wrong. Take the indie publisher Two Left Thumbs. They released their anticipated niche title, Moon River. In a report compiled by a Japanese gaming outlet, the publisher confirmed that within less than 24 hours of the new personal calendar feature going live to the public, their title pulled in over 700 organic wishlists completely out of nowhere. But the data gets even wilder when you look at the macro level analytics from Game Discover Co. Their research discovered that when a specialized, smaller game gets picked up by the algorithm and placed onto a user's front page personal calendar, the daily wishlist numbers skyrocketed from a baseline of 300 a day to over 10,000. And there are many other examples of similar things happening to other games. The reason this traffic is so important all comes down to conversion quality. When a game sits on the popular upcoming list, it is being viewed by cold traffic. A massive cross-section of the entire platform is looking at it, meaning a huge percentage of those clicks are casual browsers who might hit wishlist out of curiosity but will never actually buy the game. Traffic originating from the personal calendar operates on a completely different level because the calendar generates recommendations mapped directly to real playtime and player behavioral metrics. The traffic hitting these games is pre-qualified. If you make a hyper niche deck building roguelike, the calendar isn't going to waste impressions showing it to an exclusive Call of Duty player. Valve has effectively built a high efficiency matching service that connects creators directly to their target audience, and now that feature is blasted right near the top of the Steam homepage, no longer tucked away. The reality of the gaming industry in 2026 is that we are living in a massive survival era. Valve's introduction of the personal calendar is easily one of the smartest, most pro-indie changes they have made to the Steam platform. They took the power away from giant marketing budgets and handed it over to algorithms. If you make an incredible, highly polished game that targets a passionate niche, Steam will now actively hunt down those exact players and put your release date right on their calendar. If you are a developer who released a game recently, are you seeing an organic spike coming directly from the new homepage layout? If you are a player, have you looked at your personal calendar and found a cool game that you enjoy?